Hi, welcome to our show. My name is Brian Keys, and this is Around Town with the Laurel Board of Trade, sponsored by the Laurel Board of Trade. Our motto is small business, big ideas. We're going to focus on all the area businesses that big and small, some, like for instance myself, just getting out there in the public. However, I would like today to put the focus on these two gentlemen over here. Your names are?
Corey Lancaster.
And Carlos Lancaster.
And your businesses?
Exit Right Realty.
Exit Right Realty.
Yes.
I heard about them. That's a pretty big real estate company, isn't it?
Yeah.
Biggest one in Laurel.
How long have you been a member with the Laurel Board of Trade?
We've been a member since probably been about at least 5-6 years ago. I joined the Laurel Board of Trade, and it was on the board of directors for a couple years as well.
Oh, so you're old school Laurel Board of Trade.
Yeah, but it's trying to start a family and everything else. Time got a little bit away, so I had to sacrifice. But I still support it. Even though I'm not there personally during the meetings, I still support it from afar as far as contributions and things of that nature.
Good, fantastic. How many realtors work for you in Exit Realty?
Right now we're about 80 real estate agents.
Oh, wow. All full-time?
Well, full-time in our business is not exactly the best definitions. It's either you're active or you're not active.
Oh, okay. Active.
Even agents who have a dual career still make a great living selling houses if you do it the right way.
Oh, wow, bet.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to start working for you. Okay. Did you start off, your family was in real estate as kids, or this is something that you fell into after a bit? How did real estate come?
Yeah, that's a great question, Brian. It all happened. Me and my brother were both former CPA accountants.
Okay.
We went to University of Maryland, go Terps.
Okay.
And we came out, and got into corporate America, doing, financial audits and so forth. And, it got presented to me that, to kind of start a business, kind of want to start my own business. And someone told me about, buy homes with no money down kind of programs. They were having one at Georgetown University. Me and my brother were bachelors at the time, living together. So we decided to go to the event, and it kind of changed our lives. We got the real estate bug, started doing real estate investing. One thing kind of turned into another, and then we bought, X is actually a franchise. Okay. So we opened up the franchise, and then we started growing it.
Okay, so all right, so I'm listening to your backstory, and look, I'm an old man. You guys look like you're probably about 23, 24.
Yeah, you can feel that way.
I'm working it.
That's a nice way.
But so the age you started, you had your license was how old?
I think I got my license, I think I was 28, 29.
Yeah, I was 29 when I got my real estate license.
Okay.
And I got the license in 2002. And then as being a real estate investor and also a licensee, we ended up buying our Exit Realty franchise in 2005.
So are you licensed in Maryland, Virginia, D.C.?
Maryland, D.C., and Virginia.
Okay, no Pennsylvania?
Nah, I can't do any more CE credits.
If I was a layman, I knew nothing about real estate and I wanted to get into the market, what would I do? Where would I go? How would I get a license?
As far as getting a license?
Yes.
Well, first of all, you come see us.
Okay. See if you like me or not.
What I like to do, though, we get this a lot as far as people want to go to school to get their real estate license. And I tell them most of the times, as well as my agents, to come talk to me first. Let me tell you the real parts about the business. Because, with HGTV out there, I know you know who you are. You guys love HGTV. Real estate's a little bit more than what you see on the TV. Those TV shows, it's 30 minutes in and out, and it takes sometimes a lot longer, a lot more work to get those deals done. So instead of going off what's on TV, it's best to come and talk to someone who's actually done it for the past 18 years.
Oh, so what you're telling me, if I got started in real estate, in 6 months, I'm not going to be driving a Benz or an Audi or living in a McMansion, stuff like that. I'm starting from scratch.
Well, anything's possible,
so
Brian.
I better have old money.
Anything's possible, Brian, but it is a business, and if you treat it as such, you will prosper, but you got to put in the work.
There you go.
Put in the work.
So I'm hearing all the direction and everything, but at home there's got to be somebody in your house that's holding down the fort, somebody that's keeping you sane. You guys both married or?
Yes. I'm married. I got three small kids.
Okay.
Those are my motivation for really getting out there, waking up every day, because like I said, it is a business. There are challenges, there are ups and downs, and you really need that kind of support system, to really keep you going and really have some motivation. But yes, the wife definitely is also motivating, because I gotta still bring home those checks.
You gotta make donuts, right?
It's a sales business, so it's all commission based.
Okay.
So she's been very supportive, especially in the beginning, as you can imagine, starting up any business.
What's your name? What's your name? Your wife? Your kids?
Leslie
Okay.
Lancaster. I got 3 kids.
Okay.
5, 7, and 8. Isabella, Sebastian, and Francesca.
Okay, so at least you got a boy in the mix.
Yeah, I got a
Okay,
pretty
all right.
young.
How about you, man? How about your family?
Well, I got started a little bit later than my brother here, so I was the single guy. We worked a good team there, and I took all the events. And at first, my motivation was for us, the family, to grow a business, and just being an entrepreneur is almost sometimes motivation enough.
Okay.
But I got married about almost 4 years ago now.
Okay.
See, babe, I remembered.
Aw. What's her birthday?
March 15th. I'm good with numbers.
What's her name? What's her name?
Michelle.
Okay, and I think you have a little one now.
I have a newborn now.
Okay.
So 4 months old, little Carlito.
Oh,
So it's it's my new normal now.
so little boy.
Yes, a little boy.
Oh, okay. So in my house, my wife and 2 daughters, right? I've always wanted a third, but my wife was like, no. So she gave me a dog, a little Shih Tzu, Maltipoo kind of mix. They call him Leroy, so that's my boy.
Okay.
And it is what it is. I always
is
lose.
what it is.
I lose every fight when I walk in the house. That's why I'm dressed up with you guys right now, trying to make some bacon. And come to Realty and give us some-
Absolutely.
When your customers come in and see you, do you, when you sit down with them, do you try to educate them on a little bit on the areas that are around here, what to expect? I think they call it like payment shock and stuff like that. Do you go through the 1, 2, 3s in buying a house? Because I know there's a lot of hard-headed people out there.
Yes.
But I'm sure if I was a first-time buyer, and I walk in and I say, hey guys, look, my wife is getting on my nerves. We've been living with my in-laws. My in-laws don't like me. How can you educate me? How can you get me settled in and buying a house?
Yeah.
What do you do?
I think the first point to even go back before having that meeting is to answer the question, when do I have that meeting? Because a lot of people will want to come in the same day and say, hey, I want to buy a house, and my lease is up in 30 days, and they just want to get started. Well, lo and behold, you get their credit checked or something, there's some issues that need to be resolved.
Okay.
So what I always tell people, when you're buying a home, you really want to start talking to a professional realtor probably within 6 months, probably about 6 months out from whenever you want to be in your new home, okay? That way you can find out what all needs to be done. If you've saved up enough money, you want to be connected with a good lender, which typically the realtor will have a list of lenders for you to pick from. But you want to find out what your credit is, how much you qualify for, if there's any grant programs, for example. There's a lot right now. There's a lot of first-time home buyer grant programs that can be made available to buyers. So you need to know how much cash you need to have, different kind of loan products that you might be interested. That way you can start the planning process. Buying a home is all about planning. So you really want to start like 6 months out and get that plan together, so that you're not kind of running around.
So I came in with a plan, and I want 5 bedrooms for $900 a month. How many houses on average? Because it has to be a lot, because you're never going to be satisfied unless you come up. My perfect home is probably on the 5th fairway at some middle of the road. I'm not looking for highbrow. I'm looking for, I get out and putt a little bit, do something silly around the area. How many homes on average do you think? You probably know offhand. Does a client of yours look at before they say, okay, this is it. This is me. Let's plant the flag. Let's do this. How many homes do you guys think that are?
I would say it's probably going to be about 15 to 20. That's on average.
That's a lot.
Right now we are, in this area, we are still in a seller's market, so the inventory is low, okay? So there's there's a lack of properties for home buyers to purchase. So that's kind of keeping the number low as well. There's still a lot of competition out there. I think things will be adjusting in the coming year. But that's kind of one of the challenges right now is having enough inventory to kind of choose from.
What I'm noticing from what I do with my company is that the blessings with being where we live, it's almost like being in a bubble, because we're federal government. No matter what the shutdown is, whatever's going on outside of here, you're looking at, you can say I'm wrong, Virginia, Baltimore, DC, if you are here, you are almost sheltered from anything west or south, or, well, granted, you skip over Pennsylvania, then you got New York, that's a whole different ball of wax.
Whole different game.
Look, they always win the lottery. I'm never gonna say, the lottery winners are always there.
Interesting.
But am I correct? Our market is a fantastic market to be a part of, because there's not a lot of downtime, right?
Yeah. I mean, you do have those moments like in 2008
Yeah.
where everybody was pretty much affected.
But that being said, also, we were better off in other parts of the country.
Because we have the salaries to
we
dictate
have the
that.
government, but
Yeah.
this DC, Baltimore area is rich with jobs and income. And to buy a house, you need income.
Yep.
We're not dependent on some areas around the country dependent upon one major employer or military base or something to that effect. If that business goes down or suffers a downturn, then it affects that whole community. And there's nowhere else to go, and then you have prices going down. In our area, even though prices were going down, they were super high, we still had people who were buying houses.
They were still buying them left and right.
That's why we're still here and still in business after going through the recession.
It just kills me, because we talk about, and I'm gonna bring up the military for a little bit, because I have a lot of friends who are like Navy. Well, of course, it's Annapolis and everything. And they'll come up from Florida, and it's an adjustment.
Yeah.
You go to Florida or Georgia, and the kind of house that I want on the middle of the road, golf course. Around here, you're looking 5 to 8.
Yeah, twice as much.
You know what I'm saying? You leave our bubble. It's almost like, okay, how much is this house? This house is $27.36. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's probably, you're looking at a $200,000 house. And it's if I can get a helicopter with some jets on the back of it to fly me in from Syracuse, New York, in an hour and a half to make it to work, I will be in heaven. But you know what? I love where we live, and I love our area. So you can't get any,
Yeah. This is a place to be, man.
It is a place to be.
I mean, you got DC, you got Baltimore. Even if you want to go to New York for the day, it's not terribly far.
Because you're right in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
20 minutes from here, 20 minutes from there.
And that's why our pricing for the value of our homes is what it is. So
Yeah.
in your example, when people come from other states in the union and say, oh my God, it's so expensive here, it's because people want to be here.
Yeah.
Real estate is about supply and demand.
Yep. Let me tell you about just kind of other things that buyers should really be thinking about is how much money that they're going to need.
But that's a pre-approval, right?
That is a pre-approval, and that's depending on the product. But you still have buyers who think that they don't need any money. And although there are some cases where we can make it with very low or maybe even no money out of your pocket, a lot of times you're going to need some level of money.
Typical is about 3.5%.
Yeah,
That's
about
what I'm hearing.
3.5%.
Okay.
You get grant programs and stuff.
Yeah.
But even if you get a grant program, you still need money for, let's say, a home inspection, an appraisal, and you're buying a house, okay? You should need to have a little reserve money. Things do break from time to time.
You mean buying a pair of shoes?
Yeah.
And there's no landlord to call.
No landlord to call. So although, you may be able to get into a home with no money, it's still wise to start that planning process to kind of save up money, especially, you're a first-time home buyer. There's a lot of things, if you're coming from rentals, you don't really quite know all the maintenance and stuff that goes into the house. You really want to be prepared.
Or if I was a home buyer, are there courses that I can take? For instance, there was this company that I know of, and they were talking about the first-time home buyers. And they were like, well, if you're interested in a home, we were going to have a seminar for you to come in. Is that something that most people take advantage of? How long do they take? Is it a day course?
Yeah.
Is it a week course? But because you guys really want that guy to come in with something A, B's, and C's, correct? Kind of an understanding.
Yeah, we do have first-time homebuyer seminars
Like once a
at our
month?
office, periodically,
Okay.
depending on the demand. But we'll typically have a lender there as well. Sometimes we'll have a home inspector as well, so they can kind of get the whole bigger picture. You know, because it is good, like I said, to get that initial information in terms of what you need for financing, how is this process going to work, what are the benefits of using a realtor, and so forth.
Now, most realtors are independent contractors, although they're under your umbrella, correct?
Yes, correct.
If they had a certain customer, and this is where I'm thinking that you guys would come in every once in a while. I don't know how much advice they say. Hey, Carlos, man, look, you got to tell me about this customer. Would a customer call into your place of business and say, I'm working with Dave. I'm uncomfortable working with Dave. Would you sort of sort out the matter? Is there anything like, well, let me give them to Joan. Hey, Dave, come here, let me talk to you for a second. I think this customer be more apt to working better with Joan. Would you mind if we did that? Has that ever happened on
Yes.
occasion? Oh, just
yeah.
okay.
Well, my role in the company is I'm the broker.
Okay.
Corey's a franchise owner as well, but he focuses more on the sales, and I focus on running the company.
Okay.
So I am that person they would call to say, hey, they have an issue or some questions about the agent. And sometimes there's just personalities
Yeah, that's
that
what I'm
come
saying,
about,
yeah.
and it's nothing personal sometimes, it's a personality. And our main job is to get that person to a house.
Yeah.
So I have had to step in the meantime and talk to the customer or the client and talk about, see what the issues are. And sometimes it's an issue between them and the agent, and actually they just misunderstood each other, and I correct it, and
Easily
they keep
corrected.
working together, and it's fine.
yeah.
And other times it goes a little bit deeper than that, and what I've had to do is assign them to another agent, and that's no problem at all, because when you have 80 agents, you have lots of different personalities.
There you go.
So because our main focus is to make sure the clients get what they want.
As comfortable as possible, because they're not buying like a pair of shoes.
Right.
They're spending
Right.
a few $100s, and at the end of the day, that purchase has got to, like walking out of a church.
You have to
You
be
got to feel
comfortable.
very good about what you just done.
And if they do it right, unlike a pair of shoes, houses do go up in value most times.
Well, it just depends on the shoes. I'm a size 12, and I got a size 11
Those are places I guess I
Ferragamo.
don't shop at, but mine, they go down quick, so,
So, as far as Exit Realty, and this now, I'm gonna focus on. Are you mainly just in the purchase? Do you do rental properties? Do you do investment properties? You know what I mean? Are there certain people that go, look, I'm not in the market to buy today. I don't know the area. However, I love what I'm looking at every day when I come around here. Are there any rental properties? Do people come into you and use you as those agents? Do you also manage those properties? This is something I'm curious about.
So we will take them and show them houses to buy or to rent, or even
Okay.
help investors buy properties, because as Corey alluded to earlier, that's how we got into the business as real estate investors,
Okay.
and we still invest today.
Okay.
But if an agent, if they want us to do property management, we do not do
do
property
property
management. We tried a long time ago and realized it was not, it was best that we just didn't do that. You really need to focus in on that to be a proper property management company.
A proper property management
Yes.
company. Say that 5 times. Right. So look, the little clock on the wall, 'cause somebody off the side started going like this. I guess it's telling me to wrap it up, right?
Okay.
Well, gentlemen, thanks. It's been an honor and an absolute privilege to meet you guys today. Once again, your names are?
Corey Lancaster.
And Carlos Lancaster.
These are the owners of Exit Realty in Laurel, Maryland. Where is your business located?
8730-16 Cherry Lane, Laurel, Maryland.
Phone numbers?
301-362-4500. And we're about 3 blocks from the Laurel Town Center.
Email address? and ladies and gentlemen, they're only 2 miles away from American Bank Shares Mortgage. Guys, have a great day. It was great meeting you.
Thank you,
Thank
Brian.
you.
Excellent.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate
Have a
it.
nice day.
All right.
For history, entertainment, great shopping and dining, Laurel's historic downtown Main Street is where you'll find it. The iconic Laurel Railroad Station is an important part of the community that preserves Laurel history. Catch a glimpse of both the historic train stop on the east end and the mill houses on the west end during the Laurel Walking Tour. And be sure to stop at the Laurel Museum, which is open for tours. Every May, large crowds fill downtown Laurel for the popular Main Street Festival. Great food, music, and even greater company are what guests come back to year after year. However, Main Street is something to be enjoyed every day of the year. With numerous boutiques and gift shops, that won't be hard to do. Stroll down Laurel's historic Main Street and discover the heart of the community.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Once again, I'm Brian Keys, your host. This is Around Town, sponsored by the Laurel Board of Trade. And our next guest today is your name, sir.
Nadal Hishmeth from Olive Main Street, Laurel.
Okay, Olive. How long have you been with the Laurel Board of Trade? How long have you been with them?
I just joined the Laurel Board of Trade.
Okay.
I've actually, no, the business has been a member of the Board of Trade since we've opened up, but I am now myself as a director on the board.
Oh, so you are so I'm talking to a bigwig for
Nah.
who's your daddy for the Laurel Board of Trade?
No, not necessarily. I thought that they needed some more influence and stuff from that from business owners on the street themselves, and I was approached, thought that they can use my help and coming up with some decisions and shaking things up a little bit. So I was happy to help out.
What kind of benefits have you seen since you've been on the board, since you've been working as a member with the Laurel Board of Trade? Since you mentioned, I'm very curious.
Well, the new term has just started.
Okay.
So we've only had our one meeting so far,
Okay.
and in that we've discussed ideas to structure Main Street Festival a little differently as far as selling the spaces and whatnot goes. And I thought I gave some good insight as having a business on the street itself.
Okay.
So that was really interesting to see the spider web behind it all.
Okay. All right. All right. How long have you? Okay. So I think I don't know. I think I know.
I'm hearing you think,
I
man.
think I know. How I know I was there in the genesis, in the beginning of
Okay.
your restaurants. I know I had was it a pork chop meal or a lamb chop meal back in the day. How long have you been in your location?
This April will be 5 years opened as a business, and we purchased the building. We just had our 5-year anniversary of the closing of the deal last week in December.
Oh, okay.
So technically, we've had that property for 5 years. This upcoming April will be 5 years opening, running establishment.
Okay, good. Now, is this the only Olive on Main, or is there another Main
It's
Street?
the only Olive on Main that I know of.
Okay.
I mean, we've Googled it, we've searched it, we've checked the name, we trademarked it. But as far as another entity goes,
Yes.
right, we do own another property in historic Tacoma Park,
Okay.
right on Carroll Avenue. So it's kind of the same vibe.
All right.
It's a little more thriving. Tacoma Park has grown a lot over the years, but it is in that Main Street Historic District and real tight community feel. Businesses kind of all funnel off each other.
Okay, so
things like
same
that.
concept then.
Essentially.
Okay, good neighborhood, the food, just like eating at home, right? The home
So-
cooking,
yeah.
more or less. All right.
Depends on who's cooking at home. There you go.
If it's my wife, no.
Well, I wasn't going to say wife or not wife, but who's cooking at home?
That was a joke, honey. So look, question for is it part of the family? Did you grow up in a restaurant business? Did your father own the places?
Yeah. Essentially, I mean, my father and uncles owned restaurants throughout my childhood growing up, and then we had a place in Tacoma Park, and then my dad ran that, mom kind of like a smaller shop, you want to call it.
Okay.
And when my brother graduated college, he got into that and kind of took it over. And then I was living in Southern Virginia at the time. When I came back, we just dove into it, head first. We took over the business, renovated it, new menu, kind of updated things. Took over the back half of the building, turned it into a craft beer and wine bar.
Okay.
Really started pushing catering, just reinventing it
So,
in a way, more or less.
so you're telling me you have 2 restaurants total?
We have 2 restaurants total.
Okay, cool. So Olive, Maine is your second place.
Is our second place.
For 5 years. As far as the food is, because I like the menu. It's not huge, so you don't have to read over like 100 different
Right, you're not
items.
flipping through a book, but you have enough variety there,
Okay.
I think.
And what I noticed the last time I was there, and I never really gave it a lot of thought, you guys look like you have a pretty nice wine selection.
Decent, I think so. I mean, I think we hit every category,
Okay.
but we don't have a 40-bottle
Of
wine
course.
list or whatnot, because everything we offer is by the glass.
Okay.
So we don't have that huge wine selection where we're having open bottles all the time
Okay.
that aren't moving as much. So
And-
trying to hone in on what really pushes.
I think, judging from sitting at the bar one day,
One day or one night? There's a big difference sitting at the bar there or sitting at the bar at night.
you have a real decent beer selection. I mean, outstanding beer selection. I looked at. So, how many beers you guys keep on tap? How many?
We keep
total?
6 beers on tap, but it's a rotating tap. So
Okay.
the chances are you're getting the same thing twice in a short period of time may not happen. So we try to deal with different vendors that carry. We do a lot of local beers, craft beers, but we don't get too crazy on the high-end stuff where it's still affordable and marketable, where we can move enough of it at a quick pace. But, you know, like I said, our other place is really focused on craft beer.
Yeah, 'cause
so
you
that's
actually-
how.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. So that's how I got the connection with all these vendors, and we have about 110 different beers in bottle and 12 taps rotating all the time. So I know a lot about beer, and I've learned a lot about different distributors and local beers and beers from Frederick versus North Virginia and things like that, and kind of just trying to bring that up to Laurel, and not saying that we don't sell
Make
Coors
us-
Light and Bud Light
No.
and all that good
So,
stuff, but
For me,
trying to introducing more of it.
okay, now say if I walked into your store, and I'm gonna tell you, it's for me especially, I am more of a connoisseur, not a connoisseur of beers.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have friends that, you know, you gotta have this because the hops and the blah blah blah. It just tickles your roof of your mouth. I'm
gotcha.
just like, you know, give me something cold. It's hot outside. My kids are
Does it
getting
come
on
in
my
a
nerves.
glass?
Do you, you know, give a little once in a while, hey, come in and we'll teach you how to taste the beer? Do you do
We
anything
do.
like that?
Well, not necessarily how to taste a beer. I don't get that
'Cause I know how to drink a
crazy.
beer.
I know how to drink a beer also. But what I do is I try to do it once a month, if not every 6 weeks, have a tap takeover.
Okay.
Or a beer tasting, if you want to call it. So I'll bring the vendor out. For example, like Manor Hill. They're in Ellicott City. They have a good product. So what I'll do is we have one coming up at the end of this month in January. Manor Hill will actually be there, and a representative from the brewery and my distributor will be there, and we'll have all their beers on tap,
Okay.
and they'll give out little tiny samplings of all their beers. And if you like to purchase one, we'll have it on tap, and we'll have it that way until those beers run out. And what they bring with them, you know, promo products. You might get a pint glass with their logo on it, or a Manor Hill sticker, or a koozie, or something like that.
So you can almost have a huge diversity of all kinds of people that are coming in and see you that day, because you're going to have somebody like me that wants to go, okay, I really want to understand Manor Hill beer. And then you have the other one that comes in and go, oh, there's a beer tasting. Let's go. And okay, I get it. Hey, what day in January?
We
is that?
try to do it the third Thursday of every month.
Okay.
So this month, I believe it actually is the third Thursday. If not the 24th, I'll have to recheck that.
Fantastic.
Do a little cut and snip there.
Now, going back to the menu, as far as cooking your food, do you need some culinary background, or are you the guy that would say, come here over here, Brian, come on in here, and I know you're awful with a spatula, you're awful with a chopping block. Do you train people? You have people to come in. Do you have a head cook, a head chef?
Well, we have a head cook. My biggest thing is you have kitchen ability and cleanliness to execute what we've created.
Okay.
I don't need someone coming in and reinventing my menu and say, hey, we can do this, we can do that, or you're doing this wrong, or right or wrong, or whatnot.
So did the menu
Which I don't mind.
Did the menu transfer from Tacoma Park? Same?
The majority of it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we run different specials, and
Of course.
we play around different things, and I take all my guys' ideas and opinions and see how well that translates out to the menu.
The pricing of your menu, is it the middle of the road?
We're not the cheapest guys in town. We're definitely not the most expensive. So we're a little above the grade,
Okay.
I would say, in our neighborhood. But I think it's a good proportion between the portion of what you're getting and the cost that you're paying and the quality of the actual delivered product. So I think and we've heard good feedback that it's very fair priced.
One thing that I like when I drive past your place, and I think it's the coolest thing in the world, and this is sort of like a shout out to, I think that the theater is...
Theater next door to me.
What's the name of it again?
Laurel Mill Playhouse.
The Laurel Mill Playhouse. When you see those lights on, and either before or probably after the play, you have actually a very nice address to take care of that crowd. Do you see a lot of
Next
that?
door neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do see a lot of that, and we work well with them. So they give us a heads up, hey, we have a sold out show tonight. We know it's a Friday night, whatever it may be. And so we know to expect somewhat of a more of a volume from that show or not. And we do try to accommodate feeding those people on time to get them to the show on time. And it helps kind of both of us secure that clientele.
So with that price of admission, I'm just throwing it out there, not trying to start anything, but with that ticket, is there like a percentage off or something? Or
We've done things like that with shows, but the thing about the Laurel Mill Playhouse is it's not always their production.
Okay.
So they have outside directors or outside production teams coming in and running a show there. And whether they want to engage in that or not, we're always kind of open to it. But it's not necessarily a common thing, I would say.
So as things wind down.
We've done mystery dinner theater with them before.
Okay.
Several times. And where you purchase a ticket, come in and eat, and the show is kind of going on around you, and it might carry back over to the theater, or might carry out into the street, or might carry out into my kitchen or something like that. And that's really cool. People really like that.
Were you a character in the...
I'm a character in life. I don't need to portray one.
I'm going to admit something that I should have said earlier in the show. I love your hamburgers. By far, I love your hamburgers. I had gone somewhere else that I would rather not say, and I wanted a medium rare hamburger because that's how I like my meat. But you can put any topping on your burgers.
Yeah, you can stack. Yep.
And is it a brioche? I'm telling you,
brioche bun, man.
High five.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was digging it. And my wife couldn't keep her hands off my plate, and the kids loved it as well. And the little hand on the clock. There you go. So she's looking at me. Look. It's been an honor and an absolute privilege.
My pleasure.
Your name again is?
Nadal Hishman.
Nadal, you have Olive on Main, and where's that located?
504 Main Street.
Fantastic. All right. Guys, if you would like to be a member of the Laurel Board of Trade, it's very easy to do. The Laurel Board of Trade is located on 383 Main Street in Laurel. You can get in contact with Maureen Rogers. They have a website that you can do. Membership is relatively inexpensive, and I would love to see you here on our platform talking to everyone about your business. You have a great day.